Welcome to Nugget 204 with Steve Groman from the Utah-Nevada border. And we're heading to Bonneville Speedway. Here we are driving out to the Bonneville Speedway in the middle of this great salt flat. This is the entrance to the Bonneville Salt Flats racetrack. It is simply gorgeous. And this is where the pavement ends. And we're gonna head out to the salt flats. You can see a lot of people have already pulled out there, checked it out, and we're on our way. Here we are, just driving out on the salt flats. What do you think?
This is awesome. Very, very nice.
Oh, somebody's parasailing. Cool. The Bonneville Salt Flats is one of the most unique natural features in Utah. It stretches over 30,000 acres. It is located along I-80 near West Wendover at the Utah and Nevada border. They are found west of the Great Salt Lake. They cover a large area and have a very unique environment. This is what they say about these salt flats, that they were formed when ancient Lake Bonneville dried up. The lake was huge, filling much of the Great Basin. It eventually shrank below its outlet, so its water became salty. As water continued to evaporate, salt deposits were left in many areas. The Great Salt Lake is a remnant of Lake Bonneville. Several roads probe the flats, and here we are. All right, so what do you have to say about ancient Lake Bonneville?
Well, they say it was an ancient lake. Well, in a sense, that's true because it obviously happened at the time of the flood. When the mountains rose and the valley sank down, you can see the mountains rising all around here, right? And when the ice melts back, and yeah, it left some water. The water evaporated. You know, something I always find interesting, I know we've said it many times on different nuggets. It's amazing. They say it takes water and wind and that, but they don't have a mechanism for anything. But we do. The Bible's real clear when it was and what it was.
Well, I have another question. Why is all the salt here? And why is like the Great Salt Lake? And the Salt Lake I know is, the Great Salt Lake is so much saltier than the ocean.
Yes.
The ocean are 3%, right?
Right, and this thing is between 4 and 26.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a lot of salt. But, you know, the truth of the matter is, nobody really knows for sure why the salts are where they are. The fact is, there's a lot of salt under the earth. And when the fountains of the Great Deep broke up, places that had salt, it emitted salt out. Places that had gold, put gold. Places that had uranium, put uranium. Everything, all the minerals and whatnot, they are all minerals that God put on this earth. He put in this earth. And when all the fountains broke up and rose, various locations had various minerals that were predominant there. In this case, there was a lot of water. There's evidence that there was water all over out here. But that water's evaporated. But we are the ones with the mechanism for what that water was, when it was, why it was, and how it was.
I guess we'll have lunch here on the Salt Flats at the front of Lake Bonneville. Not. These guys racing the cars, see how fast they're going.
Bonneville Salt Flats, pretty much a fun place to be, huh?
How's your lunch?
Lunch is good. We're standing here having lunch on the Salt Flats, and
about done.
Just about done.
Having a little fun driving out. Not breaking any land speed records, that's for sure, but it's just fun to drive out on the Bonneville Speedway. Numerous land speed records have been achieved at Bonneville on the vast and flat natural pavement of salt. The 300, 400, 500, and 6 mile per hour land speed barrier were all broken here over the years. That is simply making this one of the most historical places for vehicles in the U.S. The Blue Flame, a rocket-powered four-wheeled vehicle, set the land speed record of 631.4 miles per hour in 1970. a record that stood for more than a decade, and the last of the major high-speed records set at Bonneville. Land speed records are classified a number of ways, and the current official land speed record, where the speed is sustained for over a mile in distance, is over 700 miles per hour, obtained by the jet-powered car Thrust 2 at the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. We're not setting a land speed record, but we're having a great time out here at the Speedway.
The raceway, which spends much of the year underwater, is slowly disappearing, and many racers are heading to Black Rock Desert and other dry lakes. The hard-packed soil salt area, which is used for the races, has shrunk from 15 miles in length in 1950 to 10 miles today. The quality of the surface has decreased. A project to restore the hard-packed salt has been initiated by the chemical company that mines the flats and the Bureau of Land Management, which owns the land.
Well, I'm glad that's happening.
But they're concerned because it's not as smooth and it's shrinking and all that kind of thing. And I suppose if you're going 400 or 500 or 600 plus miles an hour, you kind of need some smooth land. A couple of other salt flats we've been to, sort of in this region, at least the kind of the southwest, is out in Death Valley. We've been to Badwater, Lake Manly, dried up and made an awesome area. And it's the lowest point in the continental United States, as a matter of fact, 252 feet below sea level. Also, another one we've been to is Saline Valley out in Death Valley. There's a Saline Valley racetrack. That's where the rocks move, right?
Yeah, it's the moving rocks. Maybe one Saturday I will do a travel tip on Death Valley, but you know what? If I did a series on Death Valley, it would take a year.
It'd be never ending.
It would be never ending.
From the looks of things, it looks like we are going to have a really beautiful sunset. So what do you think? Should we stick around and wait for it or just go on?
You've got to be kidding.
I think we'll stick around and wait for it.
Oh, come on, Steve.
Hey, hopefully the skies will clear. All these clouds will dissolve away, and we'll even get some star trails images tonight. That'll be fun.
That will be fun. Won't want to miss part 2 of the Bonneville Speedway, the Bonneville Salt Flats, Utah, USA.